What's up YouTube? Welcome to another video. We are going to cover 800 plus FICO score secrets that you probably know about but aren't yet using. On the screen you're going to see this is actually, funny enough, from 2019, but the reason why I say you probably already know of these things but aren't using them is because there's not a whole lot that's changed between 2017 and today. I've got a few new FICO models, FICO 10 and 10T, that are slowly starting to be rolled out, but outside of AU's significance being, reduced, there's not a whole lot that's really changed on the FICO pie chart that we've all used to seeing, right? So what are these secrets that you probably already know about but aren't using? Well, let's cover them. I've got 4 of them here to share with you today, right? The first one is probably the biggest. You got to share this with your kids, right? Like at 18 years old, we should be starting off our friends, our family, our, direct and indirect people in our circle on the right path, right? And at that point, like they're starting fresh, brand new. It's so easy to go out and get a 800, you just need a couple secured lines of credit, maybe a pledge loan or 2, and you're good to go, right? So sharing this knowledge with them and helping them understand things like debt to income ratios so that they don't get, in too deep and get underwater with taking on too much debt that they now can't pay for every single month. I know it gets a bit tricky, but with all of the current calculators that exist and things like that, we can figure out exactly how much debt load we can manage so that they don't take on too much. We want to teach them things like utilization, right? Utilization is like the #1 credit killer. And so we want to be in a low utilization, 10% or less. So if I got a $10,000 card, I'm using about $1,000 or less that I can carry a balance on. Now you can use as much of it as you want within a 30-day period before the statement and payment date, and then obviously pay down and pay that off. But in terms of carrying a balance, we want it to be very low, 10% or less. If somebody would have just sat me down with this stuff and just showed me, it would have gone a long way, right? And it would have possibly changed my entire trajectory, which you guys know about by now. But we can still help them out, right? Those that are coming up through and just getting their first taste of the credit system in America, because it really is truly amazing if you use it properly. So it's also not free money. That's another big one. I don't know why I thought this, and it seems like a pretty prevalent, popular thought process is that this is somehow like free money or being given to me. It's not our money at all. It is basically a glorified loan, and if you carry a balance on it, you're going to have to pay interest on that, and the interest is usually not pretty. So you want to minimize that as much as possible, and the risks that you take with stacking on debt, let's call it, to our credit cards, we want to take very calculated risks with that, and we want to really think that through before we go willy-nilly just swiping that card, right? Okay, number 2, I already touched on it, utilization. Again, if I could just have gone back in time and had somebody beat me over the head with talking about average age of account, which we'll get into next, and utilization, man, I would have been so much better off. Utilization, you can actually play around with the calculators and the simulators that you get with Experian, Wallet Hub, Credit Karma. All these sites have simulators. If you're sitting at high utilization, pretty fun. You just go in there and you say, okay, what if I were to pay everything off in 30 days? And just watch as your score goes over 800 in a simulator. Well, in the real world, it would happen like that too. And obviously, the longer that you sit at a lower utilization rate, the better and better your accounts start to look, the more pre-approvals you start to get. So don't expect too much if I just go out tomorrow and I've been sitting at 60% utilization, pay it all off. I'm not going to get pre-approval offers immediately, but it's going to be pretty quick. Let a statement date or 2 kick in and you'll be in great shape. But that's another big one, and it's an easy one, right? So we don't spend more than we take in, and we don't let the stuff sit there. So what tends to happen with people is that they let a little bit sit there, then they add a little bit more, and they let that sit there, and they add a little bit more, and they let that sit there. Because what they start doing, and this is true for me anyways, I don't know if it is for you, is I started to, have that money sitting there, and then I was like, yeah, but I got this cash coming in. Why would I use the cash to pay down the credit card? Why wouldn't I just use the cash to go buy these other things? Then when you run out of cash to buy the other things, now we come right back to the cards anyways. So it's like this vicious cycle. It seems to be popular because, again, a lot of people are sitting at lower credit scores, so in the bad to okay range, 685 or below, and most people at any given point in time are rebuilding their credit. So I think a lot of people end up doing this. So how we can do this is, again, just instead of little by little taking on the debt, little by little focus on paying down the debt and always keeping it below 10%. So utilization is a big one because we always want to be in the position to get credit if we actually need it. Banks want to lend you when you don't need it. So how do we win this game? We always look like we don't need it. And that way, if we do, we can go and get essentially whatever we want, right? Number 3 is average age of account and seasoning, baby. So essentially, average age of account, most people I think miss. Okay, this is not your history. This is the average age of your accounts. They go across all of the open accounts when it was opened up, and the most recent chips away and takes away from the longest opened. Okay, so you want a great payment history, yes. The average age of account, you also want to be very high. So we start to notice different offers, different APRs at about 2 years. Then at 4 to 5 years, average age of account as well, we start to notice better offers, better APRs, more offers, more pre-approvals, things like that, because we're starting to prove again to the banks and the institutions that we're a good steward of this money. At 8 years, we start to see again significant jumps and bumps as well. The longer that you let this stuff season up without going bankrupt, without getting late payments, without going to collections, without having judgments put on you, okay, the longer you let this stuff season up and get your AAOA up, the better off you're gonna be, because this stuff really starts to create a compounding effect, just like a lot of other portfolio vehicles. The same thing happens here, right? Because when I have 8-year plus average age of account and I go out and open up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new accounts, I'm much better defended against the damage that's gonna do, because every single new account, remember, chips away and takes away from my average age of accounts. So for those of you that are out there that are like picking up 1 or 2 new credit cards a year, that's actually a horrible strategy. And the reason why is because it's chipping away at one of the most important longer term vehicles that banks and institutions look at, which again is your AAOA. So the longer that we get that going, right, and the more we space out our app sprees and we time it with inquiries dropping off and going bureau by bureau, which is what we teach on this channel, then you're setting yourself up for long-term success. I know that's not sexy. I know that, a lot of people they're wanting the dopamine hit of right now. They're hearing all these stories about, 50K credit card with no income, no proof, no verification, no this, no pulse, social security number, all this stuff. It's not really the real world, okay? And I know that the clickbait titles work, and that's, a big popular draw on social media. It's not the real world. So we need to come back down to that. And again, I know that that's not a attractive thing, right? And then the fourth thing, play the long ball. That's what all this is tying into, is we need to play a long-term game. Credit funding can help change your life or ruin it. It's a double-ended sword. It's all in how you use it, okay? So if I set this thing up properly and I leave it there and I just, check in on it, make sure, addresses, all this stuff is fine, freeze, unfreeze, all those kinds of things. I work things bureau by bureau, wait for inquiries to fall, to 0 or 1 or 2, before I go and tackle new credit card, more credit card funding, things like that. I start to season up accounts, meaning that I go in and build up transactional history. Credit unions, this matters a lot. And I build up relationships on the personal and the business side. The longer that I do these things, I'm just setting myself up for success. I'm setting myself up to now have a bigger bucket that I can pull from to get additional credit card funding. So that when I want to do the new venture or something drops in my lap, you ever notice how opportunities drop in your lap at the worst possible timing in terms of money stuff? I don't know if that's true for you, but it has been for me a lot of times, especially when I don't have it. It's like, oh, hey, come get this steal of a deal on a piece of land or, a business venture. I only need 100,000, 200,000, but you don't have it. So this is how we play this long game. And again, this is what the old school guys did. This is what the baby boomers did. And you can say what you want about them, but they strategized completely different than the instant gratification, dopamine hit generation that we're in now. We need to find a balance between the two. We need to work this middle ground, right? The middle way is always the path in Buddhism, right? It's the same thing here. We need to play this long game, because I'm telling you, it's not just about what you can get today, tomorrow, in the next 30 days. It's about what you can get in the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and how that can set you up for success, how that can help you build, grow, scale these local businesses and these different business ventures that you've got, right? It all starts with setting this up properly, oiling the machine and letting it run and just keeping tabs on it, making sure that it's still out there running properly. Anyways, that's what I got for you. If you feel like I missed anything or you want to comment below with your experience and personal feedback, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. While you're here on the channel, take a minute, watch some other videos. We've got over 400 videos and people have gone out and gotten large amounts of credit funding, $200,000-$300,000 in credit funding off of our free material and content. So it's well worth your time. Subscribe, stick around, comment, hit the bell, do all the stuff that helps with the algorithms. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.